can see me. Welcome to the Dungeon Diaries. Today was a day when technology was working against me. I went to Trader Joe's for my grocery shopping and I filmed a haul video where I showed you everything that I bought at Trader Joe's, and I don't know what happened to the video. It's not on my phone because I've been using my phone to record. So that's kind of a bummer. The learning curve will be a little bit steep for me. I'm not very good with technology and I'm trying to figure out if my phone or my camera or my webcam will work the best. So bear with me while I try to figure this out. But I did want to talk a little bit about a strategy that I mentioned had really been working for me, and this is not my own idea. I totally stole this idea from Sarah over at Weight Watcher Cape Cod Woman. She's kind of like the person that I'm following and I don't know, trying to be like right now, because I think she's really got it figured out. So what I've been doing is I've been planning my meals for the day as soon as I wake up or the night before I go to bed. Sometimes I'll plan out my meals and kind of disperse my points for multiple days at a time. And so I thought I would talk just a little bit about kind of how I plan my meals, and I'm going to plan what I'm going to eat for tomorrow. So the first thing that I do is I always know what I'm going to have for breakfast. And that's the easy part because it's the same thing. That's when I have my bulletproof herbal tea. I don't do coffee or black tea, but I do my herbal tea, and sometimes I will even make like a little hot chocolate out of my morning bulletproof beverage, and that's just where I will use the butter and the MCT oil, hot water, and then I'll add a scoop of cocoa powder and a little bit of coconut milk, and it is plenty sweet. I do have some stevia, and so sometimes I'll put a little bit of that in as well, and it's very delicious and it keeps me full for the morning. So tomorrow I will be getting up at 5:30 and I'll be making my husband breakfast and a lunch for the day, or sometimes he'll make his own breakfast and we'll just kind of hang out in the morning. So I'll do that, and then my little boy will probably wake up between 6 and 6:30, sometimes 5:30, because I think he hears us and he wants to get up. And then I'll make breakfast for him, and then we plan to be at the mall at 7 o'clock in the morning to start our walk. And so I'll make my morning drink, and I'll have that ready to take in the car with me at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'll drink that on the way to the mall, or sometimes I'll have time to drink it in the morning. Just kind of depends on how our morning goes. And then we'll walk for an hour, and then from 8 o'clock until 9:30 I'll have either just some hangout time with him, who knows what we'll come up with to do, or if I have any errands to run, which I don't have any right now, but who knows, maybe I'll invent some. Then we'll go to our next stop, and then we'll do our library story time at 10:30, and then we're going to come home at 11. So at 11 o'clock I'm going to have to make lunch for him, and then I'm going to have to make lunch for me before he goes down for his nap. So today at Trader Joe's I bought a bag of organic baby spinach, and I bought some more blue cheese, and I think what I'm going to do tomorrow is make my salad. So I already know what I'm going to eat in the morning, and that will be 6 points for my bulletproof coffee drink that's not coffee. So I'm going to take my little notebook and I'm just going to write everything out. So it'll take a little bit too long for me to, actually write everything out. But if I was doing this and not trying to make it quick, I would write out my blueberries, which are 0 points, my spinach, which is 0 points, my 2 tablespoons of crumbled blue cheese, which is 2 points, and then my 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil will be another 3 points, and it does call for some nuts, and I'd have to look up the points on the nuts before I decided whether or not I would have them for the day. It calls for walnuts is the recipe. So I actually don't have walnuts, but I do have some pecans that I bought, and so I might have those. I'll have to double check the points on the nuts just to make sure that I spread everything out accordingly. And then for my afternoon, before I teach piano lessons, I know that there's a big stretch of time between when I have lunch at about 11:30, and sometimes I'll eat after my son, so between 11:30 and 12 is when I have my lunch. And then I teach piano lessons usually for a couple hours in the afternoons, and it's a little bit like mentally taxing sometimes because I have babysitters that come and watch my little boy, and I have piano students coming in and out, and my little boy always wants to come and get involved, and so it's almost like babysitting my babysitters. Even though they're really good, it's a little bit of babysitting them, plus my little kids who are darling, and I adore them. I love teaching them piano. But anyway, I'm making this kind of long, but I like to have something that really fills me up. So that's usually when I will make a smoothie, or I will have a big bowl of whole milk, full fat yogurt. So I try to make it about 5 points. So if I do a smoothie, I'll usually do a half a cup of the yogurt, which is 3 points, and then I'll do a cup of blueberries and some spinach, and then I'll add a tablespoon of chia seeds and a tablespoon of flax seeds, and that's about 5 or 6 points for that smoothie, depending on how much flaxseed and how many chia seeds I decide to add. Sometimes I'll skip the chia seeds and the flax seeds altogether, and I'll just throw in another tablespoon of oil, which is about 3 points for either the chia seeds or the oil, so it ends up being about the same. When I do my yogurt, I just take a big bowl and I'll put a whole cup of my full-fat whole milk yogurt, and it's delicious. It's taken a little bit of time, to be honest, to get used to the plain yogurt, and my berries are all frozen right now. They're not in season, and so if they were in season, I would, definitely throw some fresh berries on top, but I just eat the yogurt, and I might put a little bit of cinnamon in, or maybe a little bit of vanilla if I want, but for the most part it's just going to be the straight yogurt. Okay, so that's another 6 points. So with my breakfast, which is 6 points, plus my smoothie, which will say another 6 points, and then my lunch, I usually figure in about 10 points for my lunch. So that takes me to 22 points, and then I have 34 points for the day, so that's still 12 points for dinner. That is a ton. Tomorrow I actually have an event that I'll be going to, and I know that they're going to be serving a salad, and I know that they're going to be serving some kind of a meat. They're probably also going to be serving some kind of a bread, which I just won't have, and I don't really know what else they're serving, and I'm sure that they're going to serve dessert. It's a church activity for me, and it's going to be a really lovely Christmas dinner. So I definitely want to go, and I want to socialize, and usually the food is really good, and I go and I eat, and I'm not paying attention to if I'm full or not. And so this is going to be the first event that I'll be going to where I'll be taking all of my own food, and, well, I guess not all of my own food, but I'm going to have some things in my purse, and I'm going to try to eat a little bit before. So I have some spaghetti squash that is actually from my garden, and so it's totally organic because we didn't use any pesticides, and I grew it from a little baby seed, and I'm so proud of that. So I'm going to have my spaghetti squash, and then I do have some organic marinara sauce from Trader Joe's that I feel good about eating, and so I'll have some of that, and then I will take one of my chicken sausages from Trader Joe's, which is 3 points, and then I'll chop that up and I'll saute it with the marinara sauce, which is 3 points, and then I'll put that over the spaghetti squash. And then when I go to the dinner at my church, I will take some olive oil and lemon juice. I really like that combination, and that will be 3 points, and then I'll have 3 points for probably, a couple pieces of dark chocolate that I'll also have in my purse. So that will take care of all of my points. I will be earning some activity points when I do my walking at the mall, but I'm not going to count those towards my weekly points. I do use up some of my weekly points usually over the weekend. My meetings are on Fridays, and so Friday and Saturday and Sunday, those are 3 days that I'll usually pick one or two out of those 3 days to maybe have more of a treat meal, and I'll plan for it all week. But during the week I have to really stick to my points, and I try not to dip into those weekly points for the most part. I'm not always perfect at it, but that's usually the plan. So I'll take my notebook, and as soon as I stop recording, I'm going to fill in the rest of my notebook just like I did for today. And I'm so glad I did find my lucky pen. I love writing with this pen. I like how it feels on the paper. So that's going to be my day tomorrow. I hope your day is going to be planned out and that you make choices that make you feel good and make you happy. And there's nothing better than going to your Weight Watchers meeting and you know that you're going to get on the scale and you know that you've done your part. There's not usually a lot of guesswork of, crap, am I going to have a big old fat gain or am I going to lose? You kind of know that you've done everything that you can to help that experience on the scale be positive, and I always love those weeks. So anyway, thanks again for watching.